So, Bethany, who is Bethany Joy?
Who
Bethany.
is Bethany Joy? Oh, go on. I thought you were asking me. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, wait a minute. One second. Let me turn my. Who is Bethany Joy? Sorry, that's my other computer. Okay. Okay. So, I have your bio. So, I'm going to read your bio. Is
Go
that
for it.
okay?
Yes.
Bethany Joy is a certified Christian mental health coach with over 20 years in ministry, equipping Christian counselors and leaders to thrive. She provides coaching, team building, and leadership development and founded TIP groups for peer support. What is TIP groups?
Thrive Intentional Practice Group.
Oh,
So,
love
yes.
it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Host of the Radical Care for Christian Counselors podcast, she recently released her new book, The Joy Catcher. I read it.
Aw, cool.
Charge Syndrome Foundation to inspire those with physical challenges. Her engaging, humorous, and heartfelt style sparks faith, resilience, and transformation, helping audiences move beyond survival to truly thrive.
Ooh.
Bethany, so I just want the audience, I want you and the audience to know I saw you in a chat group and I saw you had posted. When I saw this post, that's when I said, I've got to find out who Bethany Joy is and what makes her who she is.
Oh, man.
You said, I'm legally blind. I have profound hearing loss. I have charge syndrome, and I'm a single mom of 3 teenage boys. I love skydiving, and I want to speak on more stages.
Yes.
I said, I gotta find out who this person is and where is all this positive energy coming from?
I love it. I love it. That is so true. And I can't remember what all that was about, but yeah, that's spot on. In
Yeah.
fact, I just talked to a friend the other day. She's legally blind as well. The
Okay.
way we both connected, I literally just got my guide dog not too long ago.
Okay.
And she connected with me. She's like, Bethany, I heard you go skydiving. I want to do it too. And I was like, let's go. Let's do it. So we're trying to get a group together. And I mean, who wouldn't want a bunch of legally blind people to go skydiving together? Like, there's nothing crazy about that at all, right?
That
So,
is
yeah,
so cool. I mean, you've done it before. So now, how many times have you done it before?
I've done it twice before. So I'm waiting for time number 3. And the boys are like, at this point, my guy's like, yeah, sure, go whatever, mom.
Well, so what's the experience like? I mean, like, how long does it take for you to get up there? How long does it take for you to get down?
Yeah. Well, the first time I went was years ago, and I had a little bit, like a lot more vision, definitely back then.
Mhm.
But I had maybe a little bit of hearing. It wasn't nearly as bad as it is now.
Yeah.
But still, like, it was my first time realizing I had to take off. Like, I couldn't see very well, and I definitely had to take off my hearing aids. And I was like, hey, bro, hey, the guy that was with me, I'm like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is my first time. And actually, I asked to do the solo dive. Because, ready for this? This is
Wow. Wow.
I
Okay.
asked to do the solo dive because it was cheaper.
How about that? Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, of course it's cheaper. Like, come on. Like, you only
Well,
got one person. Like, why
well,
not? But anyway,
all right.
so
So
they
you
said
did.
no.
Okay. Oh, okay. They said no. Okay. Okay.
They looked at me and said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, well, I can't afford the tandem. They're like, we will gladly pay the extra for you to do this tandem. I'm like, okay. And it's more like saving their butts is probably what it was. But anyway, but we worked out these signs and
Yeah.
basically we signed it. And the
Yeah.
guy was like, and one thing he told me, he's like, we counted, like, he did 1, 2, and to go off the plane. We
Yeah.
landed because I knew something wasn't quite right, but we landed, and he's like, "I've been doing this for 20-some years, and you were the only psycho person that went on count 1." And I was like, "Oh, I thought I was just supposed to go." Like, I was ready. I'm like, "Let's go." And he's just like, "What's wrong with you?" So I
Wow.
told that to the second time to the person that I went. Now, this time I couldn't see either. So
Okay.
it was very much like guiding. And what was really cool is that the guy was describing to me as I went down what I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep this in mind. I couldn't hear. I had to take my hearing aids out. I couldn't see.
Okay.
and we were having a conversation as we're going down.
Yeah. Okay, you couldn't hear and you couldn't see, but you were having a conversation as you were going down.
Right? So I
Well,
didn't there's enough adrenaline, I'm not catching on to any of this. He's not either,
uh,
honestly. We
uh-huh,
land, I'm looking for my friend, I get terrified because 'cause I'm not seeing my friend come down yet, and he's trying to talk to me, I'm like, "I can't hear you." He's like, "What do you mean?" We
uh-huh,
were you know? And
uh,
so we're all confused. She's there, I get my hearing aids back in. I still don't catch it until, like, an hour, and she's driving us home, and I yell, "My goodness," and she almost drives off the road. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I could hear the conversation as I was going down." She's like,
wow,
"What?" Long
wow,
story short, there's something to do with the science behind it. The
uh,
gravity's different where
okay.
I can actually hear when I'm going down, and that's the only time.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only time I can actually hear real audio, like, I can explain it. It just
Wow.
seems so deeper, it sounds more full,
Yeah,
and I that's the first time I've ever heard audio without hearing aids,
that's
and
amazing.
so, there you
That's
go.
amazing. How about that? That is interesting. Very interesting. Well, you know, when I read that you had vision loss, I could immediately relate to that on two fronts. My father, he was legally blind, before he
Mm.
passed away. And I was losing my vision back in the early 2000s. And so that was also part of the reason, that drew me to your story.
Mm.
And so I just think, but it's that energy, that positive energy, and that's a drawing card. It really is.
Mm.
And okay, so charge syndrome is
Yes.
is that did it have another name or other names in the past, or
I'm
what?
actually not sure, to be honest. I don't know the whole history behind it, but each letter stands for the commonalities that unite all of us with Charge syndrome. So for most, it's a chromosome difference.
Okay,
For me, as far as I know, I don't have necessarily that chromosome difference, but I have all the physical attributes that make Charge. And
okay,
so that is where I am in there. And so, like C stands for coloboma. And what
mhm,
coloboma is when the eyes aren't formed properly.
okay,
Mine just happens to go all the way back to the optical nerve, so it's a more, deeper and yeah.
okay,
And so, but each like 8, I think stands for I want to think it's heart, but it could be wrong. But like the hearing loss, the heart condition. There's some processing, which I know I still have processing
mhm,
challenges, balance, vertigo. I mean, there's just so many. So each letter stands for all of these. So if you can imagine one
mhm,
challenge in itself is hard, but to have the fact that I have all the same, but
mhm,
yet not the same because all of these are spectrum. I could have hearing loss and
yeah,
just mean, oh, I can't hear some high frequencies. Or I could say, I have hearing loss, and the only way that I'm going to hear anything that comes out of your mouth is
mhm,
with hearing aids.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
totally different. So if
okay,
you can imagine all of these people with all of these physical conditions, all different, spectrum of it, all different ages, all different genders,
yeah,
all over the world,
yeah.
it's just mind blowing.
Right.
So,
I I
yeah.
I I get it. I mean, diabetes is a similar type of thing. Um, but, yeah, the you charge is, there's other things that go beyond what diabetes, is. Um, but as I was researching charge,
Mhm.
um, I was thinking about my cousin. This is a picture of my cousin. I don't know, can you see her? Okay. She had what was called Down syndrome.
Mhm.
Down syndrome. And that's why I asked, um, did it have a different name? Because they have a lot of the same
Do.
characteristics. And
Mhm.
so, um, and I think I read on your page somewhere that, and like you just said, people can have different characteristics amongst, individuals with the same,
Yep.
disease, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, she I don't remember her actually even talking, and when we and she passed away back probably in the 80s, sometime in the 80s.
Mhm.
Um, but she was a pure joy because every time we would see her, we'd get that hug. She
Yep.
all this love and exuberance of that love, and affection. So, um,
So,
she was a joy. She really was.
oh,
And
oh,
so yeah, so that I let's see.
I love that. And I think that's really just when you talk about challenges, and
Mm,
especially with physical challenge, with those, I think all of us are living life at some point with some kind of challenge, right?
yeah.
And so I think there comes a time,
Hmm.
and at least it has in my world, where I could say, okay, like I'm either going to live under this,
Hmm.
defined by this, or
Hmm.
I'm gonna live through this. And I wish I could have said at a very early age I decided to live through it, but I was like, "No, heck no. I'm not gonna let anybody even see any of these challenges that I have." In fact, it wasn't until a lot later in life that I realized, "Wait a second, I've got some serious vision loss going on." I couldn't even admit it. I'm
Hmm.
like, "There must be something wrong with me." And then I realized, "Wait a second, no, it's physical challenges, like, "Oh, okay," and that shame kinda went away after a while, but eventually I had to get to the, like, "Okay, I can be who I am
Hmm. Yeah.
and be proud to be who I am
Right.
with the physical challenges, but that does not have to define me."
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I think a lot of people get lost, especially those of us that live our stories with it's very obvious. I get on a stage and everybody's like, because I'm walking out with my cane, now I walk out my guide dog, like, they're
Mhm.
like into it right on, they're like, "Something's I wanna hear," there's something going on. But when they get lost in that,
Mhm.
they lose just like, if I got healed
Mhm.
today and everything just physically changed and I was, like, made perfect,
Mhm.
I would still have a huge testimony.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
see, a lot of people, they get to that point where, like, "Well, crap, I don't wanna the physical healing scares the crap out of me because I don't know who I am anymore. That's my whole way of doing life." Like, it sounds great to have it, but
Mhm.
yet it's almost like seriously, it's a real thing where people are like, "Well, I don't wanna be ordinary."
No, I
You know
get
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very real thing, and so
Yeah.
that's what I'm really trying to express to people. It's like, it doesn't matter what you're walking through,
Yeah.
it really is your mindset about it and how is God working in it and through it. Because if you can't see his fingerprints,
Yeah.
not worth it,
That's
you know?
right. That's right. That's right. I, um, I wanna ask you something. Let me share a story with you first.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, coming up, uh, like I said, I was diagnosed with, type 1 diabetes when I was 3 years old. And so, was taking insulin injections and so forth. And the insulin back then wasn't really that good. It
mhm,
did not work really that well. I mean, there was um, a lot of unpredictability,
yeah,
with it. And so um, sometimes, I would have high blood sugars and while I'm in school and, and then I would feel the effects of the high blood sugar and all the stress that came along with it and so forth.
mhm,
And and I remember actually having a really bad day. I was just from a social standpoint and just how I was feeling.
yeah,
And I came home and got some bad news. A close friend of mine just lost her father,
mhm,
and it was just a really bad day. And so
yeah,
I remember taking a shower and just starting to sing
mhm,
because um you processing what does this all mean, why
yeah,
is all this happening when you're in that place, and you're alone with God. How do you worship, how do you communicate with God? The singing for me really helped me feel.
yeah,
I'll say it like this: invoke God's presence, if you will. Just kind of feel the presence of God in those moments. How do you, when you're in that place, relate to God in that
yeah,
place?
yeah. Well, one thing I work with, clients with is how to build interactive appreciation.
Hmm.
And I say build because that's one of those muscles that if you don't work it out,
Mhm.
It's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think a lot of times we just expect, okay, God, show up. And meanwhile, the way our brains working is we're in survival mode. And when we are in survival mode, you literally don't even have the chemicals going on in your brain to connect with yourself, let alone anybody else, let alone God.
Yes.
And God can do everything, but he's like, come to me with a certain posture,
Mhm.
kind of thing. Are you really
Oh.
ready to receive? Are you
Mhm.
really looking for the right thing? So I think we got to go by that standpoint first. But first, really going into the whole interactive appreciation, one of the things I lead my people through is just a realization at what moment, and we can even practice it right now, what moment in the last week
Mhm.
have you experienced God's presence? Keeping in mind, it could be as simple as drinking a cup of coffee,
Mhm.
to looking a friend in the eye, to taking a deep breath, to the skies parting and something amazing happened.
Mhm.
And whatever moment that is that's coming to your mind right now, you don't push it away,
Mhm.
but instead you ask it to come close and you go, okay, what did I see in that moment? Was I seeing colors? Was I seeing just, I don't know, what did I have to blink my eyes because it was so amazing? What did I hear in that moment? Was it silence? Was it kids laughing? Was it, um, birds singing? Was
Mhm.
it a song going on? Was it my shower running? What
Mhm.
did I smell in that moment? Was it soap? Was it coffee? Was it nothing? Was it my sweat? I mean, that's a smell. That brings you back. Was my mouth doing in that moment? Or what did I taste in that moment?
Mhm.
And then you go further down, what was I feeling in that moment?
Mhm. Mhm.
Was I bubbling up with joy? Was I frozen? Because even frozen could be a good emotion.
Mhm.
I think sometimes we underestimate that, but even frozen could be like, wow, God has put me still in this moment to realize who He is.
Mhm.
So that's an amazing moment too. And then you go, what was my body doing in that moment?
Mhm.
And then if you could, this is a stretch sometimes, but I said, if you could pull out one of those old Polaroid cameras, and for the digital age, I say, bring out your cell phone. And if
Mhm.
you were going to take a selfie and Jesus was there with you in that moment, where would He be?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what would He be doing?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if you could give that word a give that picture a 3-word title, what would it be?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because here's what happens after we did, and I bring them back to the current moment. And after that, I have people share. What happened? And then they might ask curious questions about it. And then they can emote that to other people. And then here's the really cool thing. The second you share, it involves both sides of your brain. So here's the cool thing that happens. If I say, let's say this one thing was about a red wagon, an experience that I had years ago with a red wagon.
Mhm.
And I'm walking through the store one day and my kids look and go, Mom, look, red wagon. And that's a story that we shared. We're instantly brought back to that joy moment.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, is that one thing.
Yeah.
And we're experiencing God in that moment. And so, but it's a practice. You can't go, okay, I did one, I'm good. It's it's an ongoing everyday practice. And a lot of us, if we're real, we think it's a waste of time and we don't want to put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. So when as far as challenges, do you have challenges reading? Or like for example, if you were listening to music or listening to an audio book, audio Bible, if you will,
Yeah.
would that be your choice of consuming? You know,
Yes. Audio is my main way of consuming anything.
okay,
So yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, because I know when I'm reading the scriptures and I mentioned singing, prayer,
Hmm.
um, you know feeling the presence of God. God talks to us in prayer,
Oh
and
yeah.
you know, sometimes His word will come back to my mind. If I'm going through a situation and something I've heard. I also like audio listening too. That's been one of my
Yeah.
favorite pastimes. I do both now, but
Mm.
audio was big for me in the past. Um, something will come to my mind, and God will speak to me through His word and His
Yep.
scripture. And so, you know, and I take solace in that. Sometimes it's just exactly what you need to hear to take my heart from here to here,
Yep.
to lift me up. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
That's
that's
huge.
how I feel. That's how I can, those are my connection points. Those,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and even to say this, like, for instance, if we were having this conversation, I said, "Hey, if you were quiet for a minute, what is one thing that you'd be taking away?" Well, right now, just by listening to you, I'd be thinking of a song,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that wasn't there before. You can't
Yeah.
tell me that's just something of my own doing. That's God calling us both together right now to have this conversation, and I'm seeing His fingerprints in everything that you just said.
Yes. Yes. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, Talk more about your book, Bethany, The Joy Catcher. Well, let me ask you a question. It's do you have two brothers? Do you have brothers?
I do have 2 brothers, yep, they're both younger than me and taller than me, but yes, I have 2 brothers.
Okay. Okay. So, because I mentioned that because you mentioned on your website about your two brothers, and
Yep,
you, um, so for you, what was it like for you growing up with, charge syndrome and, in
yeah.
at home?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, okay, with my parents, they are amazing, by the way, but one thing they work with me on is that whole idea of, like, you don't have any limitations.
Mhm, mhm.
And true, not true at the same time, but still, that what that instilled in me is that I could do anything that everybody else did, if not
Yes,
better.
yes. Yeah.
And so when it came time to do a soccer throw-in, I quickly learned that I couldn't just do it with one hand, even though I
Mhm,
had one hand shorter than the other. I
mhm,
had to learn how to put the right hand all the way behind my head and actually do it. When I play violin, I
mhm,
learned I had to play it like normal. I
mhm.
had to learn how to build the muscles up in my right arm and do
Yeah.
it. When I took tests, I had to learn how to adjust to the small font or big
Mhm,
font or whatever I had to do. Like, I found my way around it. So it was so hard later on in life when
mhm,
I was told by doctors and other people that, "No, you're gonna lose your vision, and you're gonna lose your hearing." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just do it like I always done."
mhm.
And
Yeah.
God was like, "Yep, nope." Yeah, I had to adjust, I had to acclimate, and I think that was a huge it's good, but also hard because I think and as a parent, I'm sitting here looking at my kids, like,
Mhm,
I've got one with bilateral hearing loss. In fact, his hearing aids broke, so he's at school today without his hearing aids, so I'm just like, "Oh," but I'm thinking, I'm like, "You're good. You'll
mhm,
just do" and I had to stop for a minute last night, I'm like, "Okay, bud, it's gonna be hard for you.
mhm,
Can I
mhm,
do I think you can do it? Yes, but
mhm,
be aware
mhm.
of what's going on." So both and. So I wish growing up I woulda had the both and, but here's the deal, nobody else really understood what it was that I was going through.
Yeah.
Nobody else in my family had hearing loss. Nobody else in my family had vision loss. Nobody else in my family had a short right arm.
Mhm,
Nobody else in my family had this heart stuff. Nobody they didn't get it. So I can't sit there and go, "Well, you know, they don't understand." And I didn't really invite them into that either because
mhm,
I felt like I had to be so strong and
mhm,
push through.
mhm.
So it brought me to where I am today,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I've had to work hard
Mhm.
admitting that I need help, admitting that, I need community. And that's why community is so important
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can relate. When I got diabetes, my dad told me, says, "There's nothing you can't do." Says, "The only thing you can't do is go into the service." They would
Awesome.
they would accept me into service, but, um, he says, "You can do everything," and the doctors told him that, and me that, everything else everybody else can do, you
Yeah.
just have and one thing I was told is that, um, you know everything that happens to me as a diabetic happens to everybody else too biologically, just faster.
Yeah.
Just and um so anyway, I manage my diabetes through diet and exercise
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. So it was learning process. It was just a learning process,
Yeah.
and day by day, day by day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It is. And it is literally day by day.
Yeah.
Right? We're not where we were yesterday, but we're not quite where tomorrow is, so can we learn where we
That's
are right now and accept it?
that's
Yeah. It's huge.
right. So I also watched your video with the illustrator. That
Ah, yes, Lori Williams, yes.
that's good. That was good.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. So what's on your mind right now, Ben? You can watch Uh-oh, sorry. Sorry.
Uh-oh. You're good, you're good. What's on my mind right now? Well, I mean, one thing that I've been connecting with lately
Mhm,
has been people to identify what it is that makes them feel fully alive.
mm,
And even if it isn't something that brings them financial income,
mhm.
that they can still connect with it
Oh, yeah.
a little bit every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To not shy away from it. Because I will say what I'm seeing right now, and I think we're all seeing it, at least here in the United States,
Mhm,
is the fluctuation of everything happening. And then we got a lot of entrepreneurs out there that aren't doing as well because people aren't wanting to spend money on certain things that they don't see as necessary. We're
right.
not going to go against that, but we're just dealing with it. And
Mhm,
so the reality is, I'm seeing a lot of amazing creators
mhm.
stop creating altogether
Yeah.
because they're trying to figure out what is that one thing that people need to invest in so they can provide for their family, which, yes, I'm not saying that's not important. That's important.
Important.
But what I don't want to see happen is people burn out or walk away from the one thing that makes them feel alive. So that's one thing that I'm passionate about. And that's why I love seeing people like you on here because you're still going and things might be different. And you might have to adapt. I get it. But
Yeah.
we can still have this platform where we can do what we love to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and it's day by day. I mean, things evolve, things change, things
Yep.
happen over time. Sometimes, it's just a matter of, you know, you have to have patience.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
patience is a virtue, and so, but you just keep doing what you're doing that makes sense and that is productive, um, and things will happen over time. Everybody
Yes.
walks a different path. Nobody's path is identical, and so
Hmm.
and it's just a matter of putting your faith in God and trusting God to bring where to bring you to the place where He wants you to be, and so
Yes.
so
Exactly.
that's key for me. That's key for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how you said that. It's so true. And let God bring you to the place that you're supposed to be.
Yep. Yep.
It's
Yep.
huge.
Yep.
Like it.
All right. Well, thank you, Bethany. Is there anything that you want to communicate to me, your audience? Anything else? I, I,
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. I think it's huge. I mean, we covered so many different, topics today. And I'll go back to where I stand. And this is why I
Mhm,
have Step Out and Thrive. And people, come up with business names for so many different reasons. And
mhm,
I've been tempted to change it just to make it more clear in
mm,
what I do.
yeah.
But I don't know how else to change it. Thriving is one thing that people have to understand and
Mhm,
they have to experience. And I think a lot of times people think thriving is making their goals or doing the American dream or whatever. And all that stuff is important. But that's not what I mean by thriving.
okay.
My definition of thriving is through Him
Yes.
receiving impossible victories every day.
Right.
And that's through the practice of interactive appreciation. That's through the practice of community. That's through the practice of connection.
Right.
Um, and through that, we are able to reach goals and do stuff, but that's not priority.
Exactly.
Priority first is thriving. And so that's one thing I just want to mention. I can imagine there's somebody out there that's just watching this going, yeah, but you don't know what it is that I'm going through. And we don't. Like, if me and you don't, we don't know what everybody's going through out there. But what we do know is what God has done in our life and what a difference it makes. And the huge awareness of community and finding those people that really believe not only in you, but believe in the God who created you and that He doesn't make mistakes. And
Right.
so to have both of that, and if you don't have that, look for it, find it, reach out to us. We can connect and get you to the right places, but you're not alone. And we see you and keep on going.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Amen.
Yeah,
And, okay. I had another thought, but it left me. But we'll end on that note.
I love it.
We'll end on that note. Thank you so much, Bethany, for taking the
Yeah,
time and having this conversation. I was really looking forward to it.
yes,
I'm glad we were able to do this. So
exactly. Thank you, my friend.
yes, and take care. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and God bless.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.